Get into a very interesting story that broke in the last day or so, in that we got a very unique collaboration heading into WrestleMania season, and it's going to be Bloodsport in WWE. And it's a deal between Josh Barnett and Paul Levesque, and we're sending WWE talent from NXT, the main roster, to Bloodsport in Philadelphia for WrestleMania weekend. And Shayna Bayzler is already on the list of competitors to compete. This will not be a, well, you can appear and you won't be on the pay-per-view, so to speak. This will be televised for the world to see, a true collaboration with an indie promotion and WWE during WrestleMania weekend, the most lucrative time, the busiest time, when everybody is in one area at one time for one weekend. And I think it's a pretty cool deal that is happening during this time of year, especially if those are not able to be a part of WrestleMania, because despite everyone's best efforts, everyone cannot be physically on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. I think this is one of those moves. This is one of those things that you see that really solidifies, at least to me, that there's a new regime, running things. There's a new regime with new ideas. We've talked about some of the video packages, just kind of the graphics that they use, the match graphics, people walking into the arena at the beginning of the shows and stuff like that. This is another another step in the right direction. One thing that I think AEW does real well, Tony Khan, is he does spread guys and girls out. They're all over the place. Nyla Rose, she's not on TV right now. Oh, she's not. She's on Ring of Honor. She's not. She ain't on cable. Let me put it that way. At least on the legal cable. But she's coming to a local indie show not too far from here at VCW, which is I think out of Norfolk, Virginia. So that's one thing that I think he does real well when he's not using talent. He makes sure that, or I don't know if he does, but they're doing their own thing. So this is cool. And Shayna Bayzler, she fits perfectly. Like, this is a seamless fit right here. She can go and just go and break limbs and be violent and be vicious and just go back to her roots legitimately and be the Shayna Bayzler from NXT, the Queen of Spades. So I think this is great. I just find it very unfortunate that there's been some backlash to it, which I think is just kind of very interesting.
Dive into that a bit, because I haven't seen the backlash, but what have you seen?
Just a lot of, whether it's, we got Shayna Bayzler, we're getting people who are not on the show. And to me, it's like, this is a big name. And then you got the people who are like, oh, now, anybody who likes WWE is all of a sudden going to be a GCW fan. And my mindset is, this is what you want. Like, you've talked about, and rightfully so, for so long, WWE having this monopoly and always trying to crush the little guy and destroy the little guy. Well, so now they're sending, they're like, well, you're not going to be on the card, so go do this. This would be cool. This could, spread the wealth. And now people are like, oh, now people, WWE fans act like they know what GCW is and all this stuff, and wait till they see this show. But you want people to venture out and see different wrestlers and different styles. Some people like that the real hardcore smash mouth style, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a real violent show right there. I've checked out a couple just because of certain wrestlers showing up on it. Top Dollar, he got me to check it out. So this is what you want. Like, you want a wrestler with appeal, with a mass appeal, to go to these shows, because then it gets more eyeballs on this show. So then more people are checking that out. So then there are other wrestlers. So then they see a guy like Top Dollar or a Joey Janela. And let me tell you, the Joey Janela that's on those shows is infinitely better than the Joey Janela I ever saw on TV. Like, him in person is incredible. I went to an indie show they had down here, Big Time Wrestling. It was him and Gangrel versus the Hardy Boys. This is before Jeff decided to just break his back on national television week after week, so he could still do a couple moves for us. But he was great. He was the movement in the entire match. He was engaging with the crowd. So I just don't understand the backlash to this. And, I've seen it a good amount. And I find it very surprising that more people aren't embracing this as this is cool. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes of this. And it's supposed to be more than one wrestler. So I just find it baffling that more people aren't excited about the prospect of more people seeing a smaller promotion in all of their glory and what's going to be their biggest show of the year.
And it's during WrestleMania weekend that everybody piggybacks off of. That is the one weekend of the year. You have multiple promotions converge in the same city as WrestleMania, and they're putting on these super cards and they're making a lot of money. And you have WWE, who would normally push out the little guy and say, get the hell out of our territory, but they're actually embracing it this year. And I think that's something that a lot of people have been hoping for, that of course WWE is big, they're mighty, and they're not going anywhere. They're lucrative. They're not going to lose their number one standing, if ever, at this point. And that's okay. But it's perfectly fine for them to collaborate with different promotions during WrestleMania weekend. Let me say that again. During WrestleMania weekend. This is the biggest weekend for professional wrestling in the world, and you have all of these promotions, you have all of these conventions, you have all of these fans converging in one city, and they're having all of these events and activities, and WWE is not shunning a promotion. They're actually having their talent on set show, and it's not going to be blacked out. It's going to be available for people to see on pay-per-view. That is a big step for WWE, and it's really attributed to all of the rotted fish that was there. You know who the main rotted fish was. And of course, there's still people that's got to go. But in terms of the infrastructure of trying to collaborate, that has improved a bit. I would love to see more of it in the next year or so, because anything is possible. And for this to happen during WrestleMania weekend, to me, that is the biggest story, because this is their weekend. This is WrestleMania 40. And WWE is opting to collaborate with Bloodsport, which is a pretty big deal that should not be understated.
And I think it's smart by WWE because, it's another avenue to get your name out there. Like when Shayna Bayzler shows up, it's WWE Shayna Bayzler, and there's going to be a monster ovation for her, because you don't get stuff like that. Like this is something you don't see, and nobody could have predicted that this would happen, especially at a GCW show. Like I will say there will be something. There might be a couple kids who are going to be like, parents tuning in with their kids, like, yeah, might not be watching this show, son. We might just have to save it for WrestleMania. You can check the highlights out on YouTube. I know you do that anyway. So it might be one of those, but this, I love the idea that this is a possibility now. Like this is opening the door. This is WWE's forbidden door, per se. Nobody thought this would happen, and I think it's pretty cool that they're doing this. Like you said, and I think it's what you said about it being WrestleMania weekend is just adds on to it, just how cool it is. But enough of my soapbox that I was on for a minute. Let me step off of that. Let me ask you, it did say other wrestlers will be showing up. Besides Shayna, give me 2 or 3 wrestlers that you would like to see pop up over there.
All right. Top of the dome.
Top of the dome, on the spot.
Okay. Zoe Stark.
Tag team partner, makes sense.
Yes. Send if they don't have a match for WrestleMania, send Sheamus.
Wow. Sheamus would be something. Sheamus, that would blow the roof off.
For sure.
And he would have a blast too.
He would love it. And my third pick, I would say, let's go with Charlie Dempsey.
Okay. Yeah. All right. For me, I love what you picked right there. I got Candice LeRae. I think she would fit into that style very easily, very well. Another guy, if he doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, which I don't think he will, and in the same vein of a Sheamus, not quite as big of a name, but I was going to go with a Pete Dunne.
Ooh, I like that.
Mess around and break some limbs over there. And then I need like I was thinking of like an off the wall type of person. It would make no sense, and I know he's got a match, but I'd love for R-Truth to show up and think he's and him to think he's at WrestleMania and be asking where everybody is. The crowd would go crazy for everybody loves R-Truth. If he showed up and he's like, and I'm here at WrestleMania to win these tag titles. Where's the Miz? Like he had that gimmick going for a while where he would show up in the middle of like contract signings and he would say like, and I'm going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. And he would just say these off the wall things. Like there was a tournament and he came and the Miz and Kane were like, you're not even in the tournament. And he was like, oh, my bad. That's on me. My fault. Y'all have a good day. So those are my three, but I think R-Truth showing up just randomly in the middle of the show thinking he's at WrestleMania would be hilarious.
And doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Not a clue. Not a clue.
He's like, well, this place doesn't look like a stadium.
I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe. Why is there blood on the mat? What is going on? Like, and why am I here?
Little Jimmy?
Why is
little Jimmy bleeding?
Why is little Jimmy bleeding on the mat? Oh my God. I need that for the comedy. And everybody's like, this is supposed to be a serious event. We apologize. And then we get back to business. So I'm here for it. I love an R-Truth cameo to play into the fact that he does not know where WrestleMania is. He got lost on the way to downtown Philadelphia. I am here for that. So it's a very exciting time. WrestleMania season's taking a twist. It's going to be collabo between Bloodsport and WWE, and I hope that some of the talent we mentioned are able to make the show in a few weeks. And who would have thought that would have been the tone setter for WrestleMania weekend in Philadelphia? It's going to be a busy time on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to it. So good for Shayna Bayzler and good to everybody that's going to be able to do a little something if they're not on the main card for WrestleMania Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, I think this will open the door, and like we could see this more like the Big Four. I could see them doing something like this at some Summer Slams, dropping some guys and girls off. And next year, who knows what other promotions they could mess around and play and team up with during WrestleMania weekend.